Oh yeah, last year's trek at 90 Mile Beach. Wonderful memories. Mark, stop preening yourself.
No, I was pushing the window. Yeah, fantastic. 90 Mile Beach, yeah.
What about this year though? 2018 Trillian Trek. Here we are in Thames, ready to go tomorrow morning.
Yes, Thames is celebrating its 150th anniversary, and so I'm dressed appropriately.
You always wear those clothes though.
Yeah, I know, but I thought it's appropriate because it's 18, you do the maths.
Yeah, 1868. Yeah. Lucky I'm here. Thank you very much. Yes, we're heading to out of Thames tomorrow morning, heading to Waihi, big day, Mount Maunganui for the Ford Day, and then to Rotorua tomorrow night. Of course, we kick on right down the East Cape. Portakey, round the East Cape, Hicks Bay, Gisborne, Napier, and then across the North Island, Ohakuni, and over to New Plymouth a week from now.
Yeah, a week from now, Saturday night, we'll be in New Plymouth. We'll be tired, exhausted, but we will have had a great time.
And we've brought some fun to the kids.
We certainly have, and we've raised a lot of money, and we've also distributed grants along the way as well.
And people can continue to help us. They've been magnificent so far, and we're looking for more support. Go to Facebook, the Trillian Trek. You can give easily there. There's also some give little pages. See what your favourite team is. Your favourite team?
My favourite team? I actually think it's the officials.
Shameless pandering?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be a fine. It's the start of the 2018 Trillian Trek. It's all underway. We're getting started down here in the Thames foreshore with the Thames Small Gauge Railway. The locals have been fantastic in support. The officials have got all the food ready. It's a great start. We've got a few surprises coming up as we head off today to Rotorua via Waihi. We're going to go to Mount Maunganui all 4 days thanks to our sponsors there before we end up down in Rotorua for the night. Our old friend Mark Wright, though, he's already off. Surprise, surprise.
Someone has to make a duck of themselves.
It's Sunday morning. The Trillian Trek 2018 is about to get underway with a magnificent duck race down the culvert of Thames, the great duck race of 2018. Mark is of course already in the water because someone's got to be the first duck in the water, and the Kiwi accent works perfectly at this point.
Unlucky for some. What do you say? I can take it 113.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, you did not win a thing. Despite those loud claims of a 113 being Candy's duck, it was not. Ash on behalf of Venus. John, movie on it, please.
Well, that's the fun games and shenanigans down here at Thames on the foreshore for the morning. We haven't even got underway. We're all heading off to the start line now. We're going to make our way down to Rotorua for the evening. Well, most of us anyway. What a start to Trillian Trek 2018. Man, Thames, what was all going on? How about that duck race? I think Mark Wright's still stuck in the water. We moved on from there to Paeroa, where we got to give away another check to Blue Light. Fantastic job that they do in Paeroa to Brett Otto. And that's going to buy another one of these slippy slides. Look at the kids having so much fun. And some of those bashes too. Not so much momentum.
I'd like to invite the Wallies to come forward with a presentation check for Blue Light Paeroa, and Brett Otto to come forward to receive it on behalf.
Fundraising for a new water slide. We have a water slide here for the kids, just to keep them cool over the summer. They've got the swimming pools locally, but it's just another way of having fun, getting wet, keeping cool over the summer period. So we grab it out from time to time. We've got other kids groups that use it as well. So Icons for boys, they use it. Icons for girls, they use it. So we just share it around and they have fun. Kids get wet, have a great time. That's what it's about.
We then moved on, of course, down to Waihi, another check for Blue Light. This is what it's all about, making a difference for the kids. And then a stop with a difference, because kids come in all sizes and all ages. We've called into Bob Owen's retirement village in Bethlehem. Ryman's Healthcare, one of our sponsors now. We thought we'd scratch the backs, and we met kids of all ages, and Super put on one of his fantastic shows and had the retirement village residents in stitches. And as Super loads up and the teams get ready to go, we've got one more stop to make this afternoon. Tell you a little bit more about that later. We're on our way to Mount Maunganui. Mount Maunganui turned out to be very special as we gate crashed the all Ford Day. The Trillian Trek made its own imprint there. We gave away a couple of bikes to 2 very special kids, but at the same time got to see some magnificent vehicles, including my all-time favourite. This is the car I'd have, please. That 350 Ford Shelby Cobra. Oh yes. car lovers heaven we were in. And it wasn't the only special car out there. Little Izzy got one of the cars from Go Baby Go. What a great job they do. And she is going to love that thing. And then it was back down the road to the heart of the Bay of Plenty, into Rotorua and up the mountain. Luge racing. We started the day racing, we finished the day racing. A few little accidents along the way. No name is going to be blamed. And all that luge racing built some pretty hearty appetites, which was well serviced right up here on the mountain. Beautiful views, incredible food at the buffet. And yes, the trekkers made pigs of themselves. It's quite fair to say. Day 2 of the Trillian Trek 2018. We're kicking it off here at Kawaha Point School on a beautiful day. Ultimately, we're going to make our way to Whakatane with a pretty special stop along the way, Lyal.
That's right, we're stopping at each consignment at the college and the primary school there, and we're going to be doing a bit of a working bee, helping them out after a bit of devastation they had last year.
Looking forward to doing that, making a difference to the community and the kids. But it all kicked off here at Kawaha Point School with a great welcome and the Trek waiata, Lyal.
Oh yeah, hey, great work to Ture and dudes rolling that out. And not bad really, was it? First time, nobody really had practiced too much, but I thought it came off pretty good.
It's just going to get better and better. Speaking of which, we also gave away 3 Go Baby Go vehicles. Fantastic kids, some great smiles on the faces. And 2 of the kids here at Kawaha Point School got a bike each as well. Kids loved it, and Super Hubert just completely put the icing on the cake. Of course, it wouldn't be a Trillian Trek without a water fight. And look, of course, yeah, there they go. A couple of the fire engines are still out, and we had a very, very big one. Speaking of big ones, a couple of very special moments just before we left the school.
How did you know that?
Yeah, happy birthday, Super. Even we didn't know this morning, and word just crept out. So we got it in the school, and look at them. What a great job they did. Speaking of that, another great job that they did. How about the wheelchair soccer? That was incredible. I'm running too late, I've got to go. We're off to Edgecombe. Fantastic morning at Kawaha Point School in Rotorua. So much happened there. We eventually got our way out of Rotorua. Beautiful scenery on the way, Lyal.
Oh yeah, dusty roads. Went past Lake Rotomar, beautiful scenery.
Then we made it all the way to Edgecombe College. Very important to you.
Yeah, well I did a little bit of teaching there on and off, and we did a bit of working bee to help them out. We chopped some wood. I got a whole heap of logs split up for them so they can sell that firewood and raise a bit of money from that. And we trimmed some hedges, we did a bit of painting. Trekkers got involved, mate, and we were only there for a short time, but geez, did we make a big effort.
It's been, his old saw was a Husqvarna. What happened here? And it's been replaced with a real saw.
With the real saw, thank you.
And that's great because they had such a hard time after the flooding last year. And then, of course, it was time to head out of Edgecombe, off to Awakeri Primary, where there was a great water fight between ELBD and Best Start. Which of course means only one thing left to do today, Lyal, big finish.
Yeah, street parade through Whakatane.
I'll tell you what, Super Hubert's loving that name. NRL Footy Show, he goes, ooh, Whakatane. First thing Tuesday morning, Trillian Trek 2018, Whakatane, fantastic time we've had here as well. And it's time to head around the East Cape, probably the most disadvantaged part of the country when it comes to the children as well. And that's where partnering with Blue Light makes real sense. Rod's with me from Blue Light. Rod, why is it so important for Blue Light to be involved in these small communities?
Well, really, often a small community, it's actually the local cop is often the main social service there, and their relationship with their local people can really make an impact and do something positive like the Trillian Trek come through, support the police, support what Blue Light does, partnering with them, making a difference to those communities. It's just huge.
We've seen how good it can be too in Paeroa, you know, just a simple thing like a water slide and getting the kids involved. Does it build a positive relationship between the community and police? It
is, because often the only time they see a policeman can be in a negative situation, so to see them that they are real people even, having fun, and for the cops to have kids smiling, saying thank you, it makes a huge, huge difference.
And understanding that brings it all home as we head around the East Cape, the most disadvantaged part. We're going to be starting at 3 little remote schools firstly. Looking forward to the chance to make a difference and bring some smiles there. Day 3 of the Trillian Trek, time to leave Whakatane, but trekkers couldn't leave without earning their route notes this morning. Got it. And then it was out into the equivalent of New Zealand's outback as we head around the East Cape. It is time to get back into some of the more remote schools. Fantastic stuff, this, eh?
Oh, mate, that's what we do best, isn't it?
What do you like about these sort of schools?
Mate, I think the kids, you know, they're just so interactive.
Yeah, and they love the fact because they don't get that much attention, Mark.
Well, we had the pleasure of presenting a cheque for $1,000 to help these kids attend a kapahaka competition in Rotorua, and also presented 2 bikes, and it's stellar doing this sort of stuff.
And they give back to us, the waiatas, they sing, the kapahaka. Geez, those kids out there making the concrete rock.
I know, it wasn't fantastic, but we also rocked out our waiata again too.
We weren't as good as singers as them, but we're working on it, we're still beginners.
And we had a donation of koha from them as well, which is always amazes me. We're here to give to the kids, but they've done a bit of a fun drive themselves, and we get to receive it.
And we see so much along the way. It's all about community, all about giving back, working together, and this is the difference you can make. That's what the trekkers are doing.
Before we get underway with day 4 of the Trillian Trek, we'll have a look at what we got up to yesterday at Apotiki.
That's right, we were hosted for lunch at Waiotahi Contractors, and we got to have a go of a time trial on some of their excavating equipment.
And how'd you go, Righty?
Rubbish.
Me too. Here we are at Te Aroha School, and we've just done a couple of giveaways, Righty.
That's right, we presented a cheque for $600, which is going to help out some students with uniforms, and we also presented 2 of our bikes.
And interesting, Righty, that 2 kids got 1 bike.
Yeah, 2 girls from the same family.
Were they sisters?
They are.
Oh, from the same family. It's awesome that we give these bikes away, Righty, but they don't come just like that, do they? We've got to assemble them. And
I know, that's beyond me. Who's doing that?
Well, I think if you look very closely at the end of each day, you'll see there's still shop guys putting them together, ready for the next day. Awesome effort.
They know about tools.
Earlier this morning, what a welcome we got at the school at Hicks Bay.
Certainly did, a fantastic pōwhiri and a waiata from the kids, which of course we responded.
Ah, yes, which is very significant considering we're in the heart of Ngāti Paeroa country, which our very own musical director Ture comes from.
That's correct.
The whole kaupapa basically is one of sharing and caring, and the kids very happy, and anything that brings a smile to their face is worth it.
Anyway, Righty, we've got more presentations. We better get on the road, eh?
Yep, another school, here we go. Well, no trek trip around East Cape would be complete without a fun stop at Paeroa Bay, and that's exactly what we did today. We wanted to involve the local constable, but he appeared to be a little wrapped up. Here we are in sunny Gisborne, first to see the light. Perhaps not the sunlight, but what a great day we have had, travelling around the East Cape, visiting lots of schools, bringing smiles and laughter to hundreds of kids. We had several grant presentations and bike presentations, and the day was particularly special for Constable Pam Bell.
For me, to be at Kawakawa, my Tawhiti school, with Campbell Jews and all his staff and his students. Campbell is a real enabler, not only the community but of the coast, and for me to have my first experience of the trek at this school is absolutely fantastic. And look at my first experience. I've never seen my little diesel putt-putt dressed like that before.
And the trekkers wrapped up their day in Gisborne here with one final presentation to Blue Light. These funds will go towards the design of a less formal uniform which will make the Blue Light staff and police more approachable by local youth.
We're woken this morning to the place in the world that sees the sun first, Gisborne, and we're day 5 of the Trillian Trek. And what a beautiful morning we've had. Breakfast at the Waikanai Surf Club, right on the beach. What a fantastic setting. So we're heading off to Napier today, and along the way, as you'd expect, we're going to be stopping at a few schools. But before all that, we did a little bit of bucket shaking. What's bucket shaking, you ask me? Well, I've got a couple of girls here that know all about bucket shaking. B1 and B2, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what's the bucket shake? Talk me through it.
Well, we hit the streets of Gizzy this morning just to raise some funds from the locals.
And was it good?
It was fabulous. It was great to see the locals putting in lots of coins for the good cause.
Okay, so can you give us a bit of a demonstration on a bucket shake? But hey, right now we're actually giving away a grant and a couple of bikes, so we're going to go and check that out. So today's grant was $500, which is going to help the school provide uniforms for some of its students. And that funny man, Mr. Mark Wright, handed over the bikes with a little bit of a health and safety briefing.
Keeping old vehicles in tip-top condition is a test at the best of times. After nearly 3 decades, some of these wacky racers are much older than their drivers and need a little TLC. What's called for is specialist attention, and that's where the Trek calls in the troops, the Royal New Zealand Air Force.
Well, you know, they're pretty one-of-a-kind old vehicles, so it takes a lot of work. So we've got 3 vans with 6 diesel technicians, and we load them up with tools and spare parts and follow them around the country. Whenever they break down, we help them out and keep them going.
Together with the AA, these mobile mechanical workshops are what keeps the Trillian Trek trekking.
There's been a few issues with the ELBD truck, so I think yesterday it was we had to remove a brake rotor, and the brake, the wheel bearing was a bit loose, so we had to tighten that up. Take the brake shoes off and replace the brake shoes, replace the spring, and then put the hub back on, and we did that out in the paddock. So there's a training element to this trip as well. So we've got 3 apprentices with us, so helps with their skills, like practicing in a deployed environment. So taking into account all the environmental factors, such as like the rain, working like under vehicles on the side of the road. It's dusty and it's pouring with rain. Obviously we've got a nice workshop back at home and a hoist and all that gear, but here we've got a compressor in the back of the van, and you know, we have to make do with jacks and lie in the mud and get dirty and test this real skills. We love doing it. We love supporting these guys, and it's good being out of the office and helping out where we can.
Day 6 of the Trillian Trek, and righty, mate, we almost didn't make it, did we?
With the weather that came through, flooding, slips, we got held up in Paeroa. Looked like we were going to have to bed down in the vehicles. I wasn't looking forward to that.
No, because you were in my vehicle, so...
That's why I wasn't looking forward to it.
Yeah, neither was I. And that cherry farm, as we come through, slips, all that sort of thing, that cherry farm, 9 hectares, just obliterated.
Devastated.
But thankfully we did make it, and here we are at Port Ahuriri School, and we're giving the kids breakfast this morning. What else have we got going on, Mark?
We've got a presentation of 2 more of our bikes to some deserving children. But that's after we've fed them.
And what are we feeding them, Mark?
Sausages! Breakfast of champions.
So when we're finished here, where are we off to, Roddy?
Well, we've done the East Coast, so we're now heading inland today, and tonight we'll end up in Ohakude, because we're on our way to New Plymouth for Saturday night. We're just leaving Rangataiki School. It's a tiny school, a roll of only 7 pupils, but their wairua, their spirit, was huge.
Nothing comes to Rangataiki School. We don't see anybody for weeks. Often they have a lot of big shows or things in town, but it costs us too much to travel there.
It was a very moving experience for everyone involved, because we presented the school with 4 bikes. They are opposite their own cycle track, and up till now they've only had 2 rusty old dungas.
The 4 bikes are going to make a huge difference. We last year we built a bike track in the pines opposite the school, and we've sort of begged, borrowed and stolen odd bikes from people's houses, and they're rusty, the chain falls off, the tyres are bald. So new bikes are just going to be totally cool. They're going to be buzzing about it.
Here in Turangi, we've just given away $500 to the police and Blue Light for some sporting projects they've got going on, empowering the youth here in Turangi.
The New Zealand Police and Turangi Police are very community orientated. We're very focused on our community, and this is just another avenue for us to work with Blue Light and work the trust here to get in with our community. And it's just such a great vehicle, excuse the pun, to have the trekkers here to help us in what we try and do in our community every day.
So when involved with the trek, there's many traditions. One of them being that first-time trekkers, they get a little bit of a dousing. Why I had Sykesy up on my shoulders, I have no idea. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, mate, it's just great fun, isn't it, hanging out with all these guys. So we're heading off to Awakuni for the night, but there is another tradition on the trek, involves fire trucks. And today, even the locals got involved.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the last day of the Trillian Trek. Today we're leaving Ohakune and we're heading to New Plymouth via Taumaranui. Actually, leaving this morning was a little bit difficult. We had to get our route notes behaving sort of like a dog trial, I'd say is the best way to describe it. We had to have our farmer whistling us through a series of cones and street signs down a little bit of a off-camber hill and back to him without falling over in as fast as we can. And the problem was we were blindfolded while doing it. So now we've stopped at Horopito Motors where they made Smash Palace and Goodbye Pork Pie, and there's a whole range of old cars from different periods and time frames of you could possibly imagine it. It is here. And if you were wondering about what that other film crew was doing there, that's the New Zealand Museum makeover team. They happened to be filming at the same time we were there. I think the trekkers have had a blast. Those of us who haven't been here before, looking at all their old bits and pieces, cars that they actually grew up in, I guess is the best way to describe that. It is just a maze of beautiful old car parts and rust and moss. Everything's here. Loving it.
From Horopito, we moved on to Taumaranui through the stunning national park. In Taumaranui, we presented a grant for $1,000 to REAP. That's a Rural Educational Activities Program. They'll be using those funds for a Waitangi Day celebration here next year.
Our kids don't get a lot here in Taumaranui. It's not like the city, but they do have the most beautiful place to live, and that makes up for it. So thank you for your generosity, safe travels and Godspeed.
Well, it's starting to warm up here in Taumaranui, so the boys came up with a novel way of cooling off. And of course, an obligatory tug of war. And Super Hubert was up to his normal antics of getting up close and personal with the local police.
Having a brush with the law.
Well, here we are in New Plymouth, the end of the 2018 Trillian Trek, and what a week it's been. We've had fun and fatigue, we've had laughter and long days. Personal highlight for me was actually day one. Right from the get-go, I made a decision to jump in the deep end, literally, into a stream in Thames, dressed as a duck. It was an interesting experience, but I'm really glad I did it. So I wonder what the highlights are for some of the other trekkers.
Holy moly, the whole week's been a highlight, I guess. Ruatoria, going on back to where my ancestral roots were from, bringing my great mate Dallow from the other tribe, which is borders to ours, and watching him speak in front of us all and bringing that piece of our culture into the whole trek has been fantastic. Oh, hang on, and then seeing everyone get together on the song, the trek song. Remember all your smiles.
I remember your smile.
My highlight actually was obviously that tiny little school with the 7 kids. Just being able to actually spend some quality time with some kids instead of, like, even though going to larger schools and having all those kids is great, having that one-on-one time was actually really quite cool.
Well, the highlight has been of the schools we attended and the comments received from principals about how they normally get lost or missed by majority of people, and we've managed to capture those people, and they're really excited about that, really thankful for that.
I think the little school at Rangataiki, and seeing that little girl, Alexia, sitting on King Julian's knee. She really wanted to be cocooned on that knee forever.
For me, coming out of Australia, the highlight is coming to New Zealand for the first time, and on this event seeing all the fire trucks and the madcap guys spraying each other with water, and I had the initiation yesterday, so I copped it.
The whole week was a highlight.
My highlight was getting to the end. The Ruatoria school, the Kapahaka group,
It was amazing.
Oh, my highlight for the week would have been the small school we went to with only 7 pupils. It was very special.
Highlight was probably travelling to Hicks Bay on the back of the fish pot truck, going along the coast and going into some of the small schools along the way.
I don't know what my highlight's been in this week. It's been so cool. It's like the schools have been so good, and it's like, you know, Blue Light, I think, are really, really grateful. They get so much out of this. The different committees get so much out of it, so it's great. It's great.
Well, there you go. There are some of the highlights of our trekkers over the week. We get up to a lot of fun and a lot of mischief. If you want to be involved, then drop us a line.